What up, people? This is the fourth and final video of my series covering games you should buy on the 3DS before the eShop closes on March 27. These games will be hidden gems and games that just got less attention in general. If you're looking for more popular games to be recommended, the links to my first few videos are in the description. But I've wasted enough time. Here are 10 3DS games you must buy before the eShop closes, Hidden Gems Edition. Starting off at number 10, we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars. Coming out in 2015, this puzzle platformer was also released for the Wii U and is the sixth game in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong franchise. Like previous games in the series, the main goal of every stage is to simply lead all mini toys to the end of the level, which is done by manipulating certain parts of the environment. Using the console's touchscreen, players are able to drag objects such as bread girders, springs, conveyor belts, pipes, and lifts to guide the characters. There are over 80 levels in total, and you're looking at about 4 to 16 hours of playtime depending on how much outside of the main game interests you. The biggest critique of this game is that it doesn't add much difference from the DS game, Mario vs. Donkey Kong Mini Land Mayhem, released in 2010. So if this is the first game you're playing in the series, I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Next on the list, we have Codename Steam. This game is a turn-based strategy game released in 2015 and was developed by Intelligent Systems, who are known for one of my favorite franchises, Fire Emblem. But unlike Fire Emblem and its sister series War, Steam is controlled from the third-person perspective of the playable units and plays similarly to a third-person shooter, with the player using each unit's personal supply of steam power to either move the unit or have them attack the enemy, kind of like Valkyria Chronicles. The third-person perspective prevents the player from having an overhead view of everything that's happening on the field, like in Fire Emblem, and instead forces the player to strategize based only on what the units see happening around them. The main campaign is divided into chapters which are subdivided into levels, with mission objectives such as reaching the goal, saving a number of civilians, or escorting a character to safety. Throughout each level, the player can collect gears and medals scattered throughout the map. Gears are rare and hidden in each level, while medals are scattered throughout and can also be earned by defeating enemies, and more so if they are defeated with Overwatch attacks. In between levels, gears are used to unlock boilers, and that can alter character stats and the amount of steam available, while medals are used to unlock further sub-weapons and can be used at checkpoints mid-match to save the game, heal themselves, or restore fallen allies. If you're into strategy games like Fire Emblem, Valkyria Chronicles, or even Mario Rabbids, then Codename Steam will be a welcome addition to your library. Next, at number 8, we have Crimson Shroud. This 2012 game is based off tabletop role-playing games using dice rolls to determine outcomes in combat. The story follows a chaser named Jacques and his friends Lippy and Freya as he is contracted to find an item in the 1,000-year-old ruins of the Palace of Rahab. Like I briefly mentioned earlier, the most notable and unique mechanic when it comes to Crimson Shroud is its use of traditional tabletop elements including dice rolls and character models resembling miniatures, with feet affixed to a wide base. During combat, you'll be controlling 3 players as they take turns using different attacks and spells on enemies, or heal and strengthen your teammates. The game has been praised for its storytelling and writing, but has also seen criticism for battles dragging on and just the overall repetitiveness. The main campaign is about 7 hours to beat, unless you want to see every aspect of the game, in which case you're seeing about 16 hours, so overall, not too long. Crimson Shroud is definitely an acquired taste, but with it only being $8 on the eShop, plus it being exclusively on the eShop, I think this is truly a game you might regret not picking up. At number 7, we have Ghost Recon Shadow Wars. Released by Ubisoft in 2011, this turn-based strategy RPG was a launch title for the Nintendo 3DS. The battle system is similar to other turn-based tactic video games such as Advanced Wars and Fire Emblem, but elevation and cover play a critical tactical role, and its support fire system makes the combat system distinctive. There are 6 classes to choose, including Commando, Recon, Sniper, Gunner, Medic, and Engineer. Completing objectives and missions give the player points which he can use to upgrade the rank of each unit. Units have predetermined development trees, with each new level granting a mix of hit point bonuses, new abilities, and alternate equipment. The single-player campaign has 37 missions where you will control up to 6 ghosts, and with there also being 20 skirmish maps, you have plenty to do during your 37-hour campaign. Even though fans have said that missions can start to feel a little repetitive around the end, I still think this is a must-buy for any strategy RPG fan. Next up, we have Ever Oasis. The game is an action-adventure RPG that many fans say take attributes from games like Animal Crossing and Legend of Zelda. Ever Oasis follows the adventures of Tethu, a young seedling who, with the help of the water spirit Esna, creates the last oasis. As chaos threatens the world, it is up to you to create a safe haven for your residents. Players must traverse the desert to find materials and future residents, all while fighting the monsters twisted by chaos. In the game, players try to build a preposterous oasis by completing missions in dungeons and caves in the desert. Players can form a party of up to 3 characters and battle enemies that are possessed by chaos in real-time combat, with the ability to switch between 3 party members. Players can forage for materials in caves and puzzle-filled dungeons that can be used to restock bloom boosts. The bloom boosts can produce Dawatums, which are a form of currency. If you want to play through the main game, it'll take about 23 hours and close to 50 hours to see everything the game has to offer. Ever Oasis is heralded as one of the best RPGs on the 3DS, and with physical sales for this game slowly starting to rise, this is the perfect time to add this game to your library. Gallop again at number 5, we have Pocket Card Jockey. Made by the same developers of Pokemon, Pocket Card Jockey is a solitaire and horse racing hybrid game. The gameplay uses the card game called Golf as a basis for its gameplay. In Golf, the player must clear all cards from the field, which they accomplish by selecting a card that is either 1 point higher or 1 point lower than the focus card that they drew from the deck. Once this is done, they can then attempt to get another card that is 1 higher or lower than the card they just picked up. The game has around an 83 on Metacritic and also has been praised for its fun and addicting gameplay. The main story is 22 hours, or if you're insane, you can spend 96 hours trying to 100% the game. No judgment though. If you're a filthy iPhone user, the sequel to this game is available on the Apple Arcade. But for everyone else, if you're a fan of card-based games, as I've become over the past couple years, this unique and charming game is truly a must-buy. Next up, we have Fantasy Life. This game is a role-playing and simulation game that was released in 2014 and has developers from Ni no Kuni and music made by one of the composers from the Final Fantasy series. Fantasy Life lets you choose one of the 12 lives. The player has complete freedom in the game, but many of the locations in the game are unlocked by progressing in the main story. They can battle enemies and bosses, collect materials, craft items, and more. The player earns experience points as they complete quests, defeat enemies, gather materials, or craft items. When they earn enough experience points, they will level up. The player will be granted a higher health capacity and stat points that can be assigned to a certain quality to raise certain skills of the player. Going back to classes for a bit, you can change to one of the 12 life classes at pretty much any time to access different abilities. The combat class has fierce fighters, while the crafter class is skilled at making stronger weapons and tools. If you don't feel like fighting, switch to a gatherer class and spend some time as a lumberjack or a fisherman. Being able to switch classes keeps the gameplay fresh and makes this 60+ hour adventure a very special one. If you love games like Animal Crossing or The Sims, or if you're just looking for games with a more chill and relaxing world to explore and enjoy, then the Fantasy Life is the perfect game for you. Dancing its way all the way to the number 3 spot, we have Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call. Curtain Call is the sequel to the Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy game and the second game in the Theater Rhythm series. It retains the theater rhythm action gameplay in which players use the stylus to tap and hold notes while fighting enemies. Gameplay consists of icons styled after musical notes being tapped in rhythm to a song as a cursor moves over the notes or the notes approaching a cursor. If a red note appears, the player has to tap the screen. If a green note appears, the player must hold the stylus down until the second end of the note passes. And with yellow notes, the player must slide the stylus in the direction of the arrows on them. Falling notes result in a loss of HP, with the stage ending in a game over if the party's HP is depleted. Curtain Call has over 200 songs and 60 characters in total, with some of those characters being unlocked by obtaining crystal shards in what's known as Quest Medley mode. The game is about 11 hours or 35 hours if you choose to do the side content as well. Even though I'm currently enjoying Hi-Fi Rush, I realize rhythm games aren't really my thing. But if you like rhythm games or you're looking to try something outside your comfort zone, Curtain Call should definitely be a game to consider. At number 2, we have Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask. This is the 5th game in the Professor Layton series and is the first Professor Layton game for the 3DS. The story follows Professor Layton and Luke as the two head to the town of Miracles in Monte d'Or in search for the Mask of Miracle, which has the ability to grant wishes to its wearer. Layton and Luke arrive at the town to see they are too late as a mysterious man called the Masked Gentleman is using the power of the mask to turn people to stone, and it is up to Layton and Luke to solve the mystery of the town. As far as gameplay, Miracle Mask is a puzzle adventure game split across various chapters. Players explore and converse with characters to help solve the mysteries that lay before them. At various points in the game, the player will encounter puzzles that need to be solved. Unlike the previous games in which players interacted directly with the environment on the touchscreen, players now use the touchscreen to control a magnifying glass to navigate the environment displayed on the top screen. When the magnifying glass hovers over something of interest, the player can tap to touch the screen to inspect it, initiating conversations with characters or revealing a hint coin or puzzle. There are 150 in-game puzzles in total, and the main campaign takes a solid 17 or so hours to beat and can take up to 24 to 35 hours depending on if you want to do everything or just a couple of extra things. Similar to what I said about Theater Rhythm, this game isn't for everyone, but if you like the detective part of Ace Attorney and Danganronpa or just love solving puzzles during games of other genres, the Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask might become one of your favorite 3DS games. And finally, at number 1, we have Stellar Glow. The game was released in 2014 and published by Atlas, who, if you don't know, are the publishers of the popular RPG series Persona, SMT, and Etrian Odyssey. In this tactical RPG, you take on the role as Alto, a boy with amnesia. One day, he and his childhood friend Lynette watch as the Witch of Destruction, Hilda, uses the Song of Ruin to transform everyone into crystals and turn Lynette into the Water Witch. With her newfound abilities and with Alto's power to awaken the songs in the hearts of witches, the two travel in search of the 3 other witches who each personify one of the main 3 elements, wind, fire, and earth, in order to stop the terrible fate befalling the world. Stellar Glow's gameplay is divided into free time and battle time. In free time, players are given 3 opportunities to build relationships with their teammates, perform odd jobs, or explore their surrounding area. They are also given the opportunity to tune their witches, a process that becomes necessary when personal strife will prevent the player from increasing their relationship with their respective witch. Doing any of these things will cause time to pass, and the extent to which a player develops a relationship can impact the game's ending. Battle time consists of turn-based combat similar to that of games like Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics. Strategy is really important in this game, as terrain, battle order, and even the direction your units are facing all play a major role in making sure the fight goes as smoothly as possible. Engaging in battle time will progress the game's story, and also during battle, the extent of a character's ability can depend greatly on how close Alto is to the person, as a closer relationship or friendship can allow the character to unlock various abilities. With an average playtime ranging from 50 to 79 hours and multiple story and character endings, this game has plenty of content to keep you busy and entertained while also being highly replayable. There has been some criticism of the game, such as enemy AI intelligence, battle speed, and layouts of certain maps, so just keep that in mind. Fans of JRPGs and strategy RPGs will both tell you that Stellar Glow is one of the best games on the 3DS. So if you're a fan of tactical or strategy games, Stellar Glow is one of the first games you need to pick up before the eShop closes for good. Alright, that's all I got for you today. If you want to see one of the other 3 parts to this series, all the links will be in the description. Also, if you're curious about the top single-player games coming this year, like Tears of the Kingdom, click the link on the screen. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe to keep up with the channel. Later.